Alright, ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? It's the Ceremonial Witch, Corey LeBlanc here again, and I have a bunch of recordings, so you're going to hear this intro once more. Probably a few more times, I don't know. Um, I don't know, about an hour of content on here so far, and then one thing from Freak Phil, Uncle Birch. Just something quick about the trees and shit like that. And I think it's important, and it goes along with what I'm saying. And there's another thing in here about trees from Peterson, about deadwood, that I explained. But I'm still looking for that clip. I haven't found it yet. However, most of this was taped in my car, as I like to do, and I wasn't able to. Sorry, when I came home, I recorded another 40 minutes, basically the ending, and then I just went to just hear it and listen to it, and I noticed it was muffled. I was using a new headset, and the mic picks up well. I tested it, and it worked well. But then I laid down, and the mic hole was actually against the bed, so it's a little muffled. You might have a hard time hearing the last 40 minutes due to that. So as it plays, I am going to listen to it and write it down what I wrote this way, because if you want to just shut it off at that point, go for it. It is what it is. But I think most of the best lesson is actually in the last 40 minutes about identity, taking on different identities, how to use it to your benefit, how to not say I am certain things anymore, and how it relates to thought forms and a whole bunch of other things. And I think it starts off by you hear me well, and once I lay on the bed, close my eyes to get the information better, I guess. I was wearing, like I said, I was wearing the headset wrong, and the mic that picks up my voice is on the back. 'Cause it's actually a really good headset. It's actually better than my one with the mic that came in front of my mouth. But I was laying on the fucking mic like an idiot. So my bad. And like I said, I'm going to listen to that as it plays, and if before the episode's done I am able to record it, I'll put it on at the end. However, it most likely won't be until my next episode, whatever the fuck that is. But anyways, besides that, I hope you enjoy the rest of this shit. And yeah, have a great fucking night if I don't come back on.
This is Corey LeBlanc, Ceremonial Witchcraft episode. How's everybody doing? I hope nobody out there is too fearful or living in any kind of shitty ways and fears right now. I hope all is well as everyone. I'm going to play something in a little bit. Small clip from Birch's latest Ask Uncle Birch. Maybe a few lines. There might be more, because I don't know. I like to listen to those. I don't always listen to them when they first come out or live. I don't think I ever listened to them live. Maybe once or twice. But there's always some good tidbits in there, almost every episode, and some of them got a lot of them in this one. As weird as some of the questions were about how to get rid of ants and how to make Southern-style chicken, but there was a lot of good shit in this one. Things that, that's not often covered, because if you go on YouTube, depending on what tags or whatever you write in there, however you want to word that, you can get a wide variety of things. You can see the same shit over and over again. And that's mainly because a lot of people just fucking copy and paste, I guess, is the way to say it. Copy and paste someone else's information. They just fucking verbalize some information instead of giving you new information or telling you how they did it. It's one thing to say, hey, I got this information from this person, and this is how I interpret it, and how I was able to, this is how it helped me understand it, or this is how I did it, or when I did do this, I got this result. That's different. When you're just re-saying people's shit, that's just dumb. That's just pointless. To me anyway. Now, I'm not here to cut anybody down, because that's not going to help. If you're out there and you're just starting and you've learned from somebody and you're making your own videos and all that, so I'm not shitting on you. I don't think that. But try to add a little something to it if you can. It's kind of just what I'm saying. So that being said, what I want to talk about is, what I talked about in my last episode was about the whole fucking war shit and fucking Australia shit and all that. And I told people I didn't want anybody focusing on, the bad stuff. They want to help. Well, I'll do something good. But then I listened to the Birch thing. And, I should have known this because I heard Greg Braden say this before, too. When he was Greg Braden had a story when he was with his friend, or when he first moved to New Mexico. It was one of the worst droughts ever. And then, him and his buddy prayed for rain, and then they got so much rain that it was almost worse having all that rain than it was in the drought. Birch had a similar story. That this one time there was fires from Florida basically to Canada, and yeah, he was a guest star on this radio station. I can't think of the name now, but you'll hear it when I play it. And then this guy had asked everybody to I don't know, do a spell or something to that effect for there to be rain to help the forest fires. And Birch says this is just when the internet started. So I mean, I'm going to look this up to see, but because I'm curious on how high and how close it came to Canada, to be honest, because that's where I live, and Florida is directly below me. If I drive straight south, obviously it's not completely straight, but you know what I mean. From where I am, I get to Florida. So yeah, I'm kind of curious. Anyways, so he said the internet just started. You could see the satellites, and he said he saw the satellites over Middle America start forming and then start going towards it'd be the East Coast, because that's where I am. I'm on the East Coast, and Florida's on the east side of the states, and Birch is in the west side. But anyways, because of it, fires went out, but then it was a disaster. The disaster that Mother Nature made was way better than the disaster that everybody's collective mind, wanting to do good, wanting to help, the collective mind and all the prayers or all the fucking spell work basically in their thoughts and intentions all put together was a lot. And, she listened to, okay, this is what you want, I'll give it to you, and she let it have it. And her way was better probably, because once everything burns, it's done, right? It's over with. Now other things can catch on fire. That's the hard part about that. You got to maintain the fire from not spreading. But with water, water is a lot harder to not let spread. So fire, the wind, the water, and the earth can put out fire. All three of those things can help. Now wind can also make fire bigger. We know that. But there's a lot of wind that can actually blow out the candle flame. Everybody knows that, okay? So that one has a small amount of effect. And then when you add the other two to that, when you have water with air pressure, you can shoot it. Well, there you have absolutely. And then if you add a base, which is earth, to that water, to that liquid, which is what your not fire hydrants, but your fucking things, fire extinguishers. That's what they are. It's actually more like a base kind of liquid or foam that comes out of it. So that's all three elements, because there's air pressure in there. It's obviously a little bit of liquid form, but then it's air pressure, liquid form, and the base is, something from the earth, minerals and share how you get base and acidity. So anyways, the point is, it's easy to maintain those fires. So the fires that they're having now, it might be construed as a bad thing, but maybe the alternative that was supposed to happen or come, or maybe there's a reason for these fires. And I hate seeing anybody suffer or anybody be in pain or anybody lose people, whatever the case may be, but I don't want to add to the problem or make the problem worse. So I said, maybe imagine fucking doing something, a ritual or whatever, and then I just don't want. Now after hearing that, and I'm guessing I heard that for a reason. I'm guessing this isn't a coincidence. Give me a second. I'm on the fucking big machine again. I don't have a bunch of dead air. That wasn't on by accident that I heard that after making it was the day after I made the episode about to not focus on all the bullshit happening between Iran and the States. And as everybody knows, I don't know if it's got worse or not. I don't watch the news, so unless my wife tells me she saw something on Facebook or the radio at work tells me something, I don't really hear what the fuck's going on. But then yesterday, 2 days ago, I don't know, yesterday, 2 days ago, one of the two, I believe it was 2 days ago, that Iran retaliated, and I don't remember where, but there was a base of soldiers, and I want to say it was maybe like 800 soldiers got bombed or killed by the Iranian military, just like Bush pushed a button and killed the Iranian minister, whatever that dude was, military dude. So point is, I told people to not focus on that, and I maintain that one, okay? And and then I said there was a woman out there saying it's time to be warriors and all this, and absolutely, she's right. It's time to
do something, but maybe do it on your own, okay? And that was what I was hoping for when I said, if you want to do something, maybe do a visualization of you putting out a fire in Australia, and you do that 3 days in a row. Just you, maybe. I mean, you can visualize a whole bunch of people doing it if you want, but that's kind of the point I'm trying to get at now. Is after hearing what Bert said, the guy on the radio, all his listeners, he got them to all, focus on rain coming, and they did. And I haven't listened to it or found it. Well, I haven't tried looking for it either, though. But I am very interested to kind of hear if there was like maybe a harm-free or some kind of word in there, because I'm not saying that's an all catch-all or it's going to do the trick or that would be how to improve that spell, but because he's got another example with something to that effect with the arms race and the Vietnam War. So, but anyways, all I'm trying to say is it might be better to just leave it alone, but that's very hard to do. Is to not is to leave something alone when people are suffering. So my suggestion is, if you want to visualize yourself putting out a single fire in Australia, that might help, because what we do on the inside of us affects the outside. That's what you eventually learn in this. This is why I've been focusing lately on a lot of deities and thought forms and egregores and gods and shit like that, because everybody thinks the gods are up in the heavens, whether it be the pagan gods or whatever, and it's not the case. When it comes to our Earth, our Mother Earth, the one people are blaming for these forest fires, which I don't think it's her fault, but when it comes to our Earth, she is a being, she is a living being, and what that being is, I can't tell you. We have a word for it, it's called planet, but that's not what she is. It's not what this is. Whatever this is, it's our physical realm. But it's not just a planet, okay? But that being said, this is why, and this is the point I'm trying to get at. Well, I'm trying to hit a few points, so hopefully I close all these fucking open-ended conversational points I'm trying to bring up. But so the first one, I'll circle back around to hopefully, but this one I'm trying to make right now is because it's just with the 7 energies in your body, right? We look up to the planets, and a lot of people I've heard and been asked, actually via email, how come planet Earth isn't in there? Well, it is, but it's represented by Saturn, and it's not really represented by Saturn, but Saturn is the ruler of this realm, and that's why when you open your root chakra, you then get connection to Mother Earth, to the earth below our feet. There's an energy that starts coming up through you, and it's your first base level of gut feeling, intuitions, whatever you want to call it. That's when that shit can start, if you do it properly. Not necessarily just when you're in the root chakra stage, but if you get past all the fear media and you don't just plant your fucking flag in a area or in a subject or topic, you don't just stop on whatever issue. There's so many issues in this world. There's no way we can solve them all. And no way, because when I was in the fear-based media, I was watching everything. And there wasn't a fucking goddamn thing I didn't watch. When I came to the Illuminati, I watched dragons, aliens, I watched it. Giants, I watched it. Chemtrails, vaccines, different diseases, the fucking 9/11, all the different ways and conspiracies and shit that there is out there, I was watching. And I'm sure there's even more now. Flat Earth was probably one of the first ones I got into, but it's hard to know which one was the actual first one, but I know that that was definitely one of the beginning ones. But for Flat Earth, I found Santos Bonacci, so I'm absolutely grateful for that, because Santos taught me a whole lot about astrology, a whole lot about how it affects your body, a whole lot, basically. And there's a lot of things I wouldn't know right now if it hadn't been for Santos Bonacci. That's one of the reasons why I'm so goddamn grateful for him, for that. It's actually pretty goddamn amazing what I learned from him. So researching into Flat Earth was definitely not a waste. Sometimes I go back on all my time listening and talking to Jesus. Sorry. I go back to, I think back on all the shit I was looking at, and it's like, man, what a waste of time. But then it's like, oh no, it's not really a waste of time, because I was learning, I was progressing, and everything has its progression, right? The things you believe a year ago are not going to be the things you believe today.
The things you believe today are not going to be the things you believe 2 years from now. Now they might be the same subject, might be around the same topic. You might have similar beliefs, but they're going to expand. You're not just going to stay stuck on something. And if you do have the same beliefs from a year from now, it's just because you didn't circle back and analyze it, because you were reanalyzing other themes and other topics or whatever the case is. And that's what we need to strive to do. But back to the planet. So this planet, this Earth right now, okay, she's alive. And when I say Earth right now, I'm talking about the actual Earth, the ground, the rocks, the Earth itself, the thing you put a seed in and it grows a plant. That's what I'm talking about right now. She is absolutely magical. She can destroy or she can grow something beautiful. She can do both. You put a seed in there, the seed, something that's just on the shelf in the store or from a farmer, wherever, doesn't matter. But you put that in the fucking ground and it's going to grow. And it doesn't need to be refrigerated or nothing. This is a little fucking seed. It could be from an apple. It doesn't matter. It could be from last year's stuff. It doesn't matter. It could be one of those little helicopter things that fucking fall on the ground and spin like a helicopter. And that will grow a fucking maple tree, I think, anyways. So, point is, by then, if you put, let's say, I had a buddy of mine who was making a lot of money and some illegal shit, and he put garbage bags of money under the ground. He just buried it, figured, fuck it, safe there. No one touched it. Absolutely, he was safe. No one touched it, except for Gaia, except for Mother Earth. She completely destroyed it. I figured the plastic bag wouldn't be affected all that much, and because it's kind of like a rubber. Well, it's called plastic bags, so it's actually plastic. But anyways, I figured that the water would just bounce off it, right? You put a plastic bag outside for it's a rainy day, it's garbage day, fucking rain just bounces off it. The garbage bag stays intact. People have garbage bags out that have been sitting there for all winter long, and when the summer comes around, they're still intact. Mostly. Some people think it's going to be good, but no, the minute you put that bitch in the earth, she starts deteriorating again. Maybe not the very minute or second, but it starts taking it apart. So yeah, needless to say, my buddy lost a lot of money. I think he put $50,000 in the ground. Obviously it wasn't a big, movie style garbage bag. I mean, it might have been more than that. I don't know. I know he had a lot more than that, but he had to hide it. He wasn't trusting of the woman he was with, so that's why that happened. But anyways, so what can cure can kill, and that's the same for our Earth. What can cure can kill. And then, what's going on in Australia is definitely a testament to what I just said there, because what she's doing is these forest fires. But these forest fires, whenever it's different kinds of trees, like the Christmas pine tree type, well, that's how they spread their seeds. That's how a Christmas tree is spread.
Now, I'm not going to assume that Australia has Christmas trees at all, because I don't fucking know. I don't know if they do, if they have any of the pine tree type. Because right now I know it's like summertime, or what are we in? Yeah, we're in winter, so it's summertime for them. Okay, peak of summer right now. But they have a warmer climate than we do, I'm pretty sure, unless they're basically where we are, but on the southern hemisphere rather than the northern hemisphere, which is likely because of the way the atlas looks. But I've watched videos a long time ago saying that bitch was all backwards. But it still wouldn't change the fact that they are, even if they're up and we're down. Also, something else is pretty cool if you're looking at into some of this shit there, seeing how the North Pole is moving. One of the guys I gave a link to my last video, all that space energy shit going on. He had a pretty interesting video that I followed up on and found out that North Pole actually is moving slightly, technically, which is cool, because it kind of means I know the North Star changes, the true North changes, and shit like that. But anyways, so I don't think they have trees there, but I guess I'll punt another notion, something I know about forest fires. This is something I heard Jordan Peterson say, and it's biblical theory. Now, before I polarize so many people, thinking like, what? You listen to Jordan Peterson? Biblical shit? Really? The fuck? I thought you were a witch. I thought you were a magician. Magic, motherfucker. Bible ain't for you. No, that's not true. Bible is for me. I don't follow the Bible like a Christian. I use the Bible as if it's a story for mankind. If it's a story for you to learn about your body and what to do, and, the first two brothers, Cain and Abel, that were born, what I mean? Your brother was great, got everything, but he killed him. Whatever. But that's allegory, myth, not fucking something that actually happened. Because then, that motherfucker ended up building the world. He was the one, God said, and I'm a big Avenged Sevenfold fan, always have been. And it wasn't until like that story and a few others that, when God says, if anybody takes revenge upon Cain for killing Abel, sevenfold, revenge will be taken on them sevenfold. Revenge will be taken on them sevenfold. Something to that effect. So, revenge sevenfold, avenge sevenfold. Point is, yeah, God let the murderers do fucking rebuild fucking whatever. But Adam and Eve weren't technically human. They were made from the ground, Gaia. And then they had a kid, and then the first kid was human. Therefore, if you take that truthfully, well, all humans are coming from these creatures that God created. So God has created us, technically. He created our first parent, and then we are, and this is how the progression into skin or sin continues to happen out, and why we are so dense, because the first two people that God made realized that, and like I said, this isn't fucking historical, this isn't fact. The first two people God made realized that only God made the tree of knowledge and evil and all that, and they were vulnerable, as Peter would say, but they realized they were naked and this and that and the other thing, and whatever the case is, but they weren't even technically human. God made them. There's one thing I find fascinating is that he actually goes into detail about how they couldn't really see color before. And I find that fascinating because when you're dreaming, you have emotion though. It's something to be bad to be good. You don't really realize that things are in color. You just assume, right? You're using your pineal gland, and your pineal gland doesn't really know color. From what I learned, and from my dreaming, it's like, I totally see fucking color, but you can't really know, right? You just see pictures. So as much as I think I see color, it's supposed to only be able to see black and white or something like that. That's what I read. That's what I learned. All information is secondhand information, so who the fuck really knows? But I find that fascinating because in the Bible it says that they can finally see color, so that it's assumed that before that they were only seeing like black and white, or they just didn't really notice color before that until they had the knowledge of good and evil. Well, now they know what colors are, so it doesn't really matter. The point is, your pineal gland doesn't really see color. Apparently, it's not supposed to. But more important than that, whenever she eats of the apple, her eyes are now opened, or something to that effect. Yeah. So it's like saying their eyes were never open before. Maybe they were just purely on their third eye. Maybe they were just walking around third eye in it, you know what I mean? They didn't need to have their eyes open. So they walked around everything they saw was beautiful. They were just in their head. They were making things up as they go. You know what I mean? God was with Adam, right? And they were creating animals together, basically. Because Adam needed something to fuck around with. And I don't mean that as sex, but I'm sure that if you want to take that literal, that would totally be something. Oh, not if you're in a dream, maybe. I don't know. I've dreamed of sex, though. But anyway, point of all that is because God would make the animal, but until Adam named it, it wasn't technically an animal, and whenever he named it, it became an animal. You're going to get this in Jordan Peterson's very biblical shit, and I think it's worth looking into, but to not take on his complete version of it, because, well, why would you take anybody's complete version of anything? I mean, no one should be doing something stupid like that. You should literally take what you think is right and wrong, and then build on from there. I said, even talking about the pineal gland, I added that interpretation in there. And with the whole eyes opening thing there, well, that's why, how can you see with your third eye? You know what I mean? That's how kids are pretty much running around. Like my baby, we're teaching her colors and all that right now, and trying to get her to say, the letters of the alphabet and shit like that. But she's just making a sound, and when she makes the right sound, we fucking reinforce, hey, you did a good job with something, so therefore she keeps saying that fucking sound over and over again when we point at the thing that is associated with that sound. But she doesn't know what an A is. That's not going to be happening until later on when she gets indoctrinated in school. Fucking isn't terrible, but it isn't great either, and I don't have any better solutions. There's no way to fucking just say, no, she's not going. Love to stay home with her and homeschool her, absolutely, but I don't know. That's not going to be a hard conversation to convince my wife to do. But anyways, point is, your kids, they might have their two eyes open, and my daughter's really fascinated with eyes, their own eyes, seeing things, looking at things, but with eyes. But it could be completely pineal gland, pituitary gland, and there's some people that end up are colorblind as well. Who knows? Maybe they have an open pineal gland, too far open. Anyways, this is just all fucking me just wondering and throwing things out there. But anyway, from this biblical series from Peterson, he brings out a very factual, actual, very interesting point about forest fires. And the reason forest fires catch is because there's some dead wood that starts piling up, right, to these trees. And, you know, if you live somewhere seasonal, then these trees die every year, come back to life, some bark falls off, branches falls off, dead wood, right? Anything's dead. You got dead leaves, dead grass, whatever. Lightning comes, ignites the bitch, starts going, starts making a fire, whatever. So if it's really hot, you got heat lightning, that don't help anything. Everything is super dry with no hydration, no water in it, right? So, you know, anything that dies has water in it for a little bit. You cut a piece of fucking wood, put it in a fire, it's not going to fucking go right away until it gets dry. So basically the water either evaporates or comes out of it somehow. So, your dead wood, after it's been there for a while, is dry, you know what I mean? Or it's been really hot. That's why sometimes people say, well, it's dangerous. Not only have the trees and shit that are alive not been getting water, so they have a smaller content of water in them, which they don't catch unless, you know, really on fire. Then it's smoke. But even then, but more importantly than that, when it's super dry, all the dead wood, anything that had water in it evaporates. Any little lakes that would help possibly, you know, not allow fucking lightning to cause a big fire or evaporate, you know what I mean? You have lake areas around a certain area where the lightning would hit when the fire gets to the water, it might not be able to pass, you know, what's opposite of fire. Well, it's definitely not water, sure, but, but anyways, that's another good point too, right? How does Earth get rid of what she doesn't want? Well, she uses the opposite polarity, which is fire, to restart, renew. She allows something to happen over another god. It's the air god. And then it talks to the water god, say, hey, don't do anything because the fire god is going to burn my shit here, and air god's going to light a match first. Let it happen. So please don't rain, okay? And then we're going to burn this bitch up until there's nothing left. And start from new because the people are fucking up. Whatever the case is. But anyways, so that, and he had this point where everybody should be doing that every once in a while. Getting rid of a little bit of dead wood. Getting rid of a little bit of dead wood every day. You know, going through what you don't need or realizing you won't get rid of, whether it's clutter in your house to bad habits or writing down shit out of your psyche, whatever the case is, doing something a little healthy every day, you know, whether it's exercise, that could be considered getting rid of the dead wood, or the idea of being extra weight, or, you know, getting rid of any illness that could be creeping up by making your heart stronger by cardio, or making your muscles stronger by, you know, lifting weights, and then you don't have to worry about, you know, hurting yourself at work, something like that, you know. But what happens is if these forest fires don't happen, and people stop them, the dead wood piles up. So the dead wood piles up, well then that first fucking lightning that comes and lights that match, woof, it just catches like a motherfucker, and then it's unstoppable because the whole forest of dead wood that's been piling up over dead wood that's been piling up over and over and over again. He gives an example of when this happens. So that is totally the same example as birch. I have no idea. I didn't look into either one of them, but I think it's fascinating, and it's a good thing to remember. So when this is happening, maybe they were trying to prevent the forest fires, maybe the dead wood piles up so much, and, you know, who knows? I made a joke to my wife yesterday, and this is just a joke, so anybody who eats meat, don't take it serious or personally, because I'm just joking, but I do want to say it, because it's not funny at all, but I said, well, there's been a fucking. I told my wife, I'm like, I know you still eat meat. I know everybody eats meat. That's fine. I'm not gonna tell anybody not to eat meat because, there's a lot of people out there saying that meat's okay, and then, like I said, meat's a cure for one disease, autoimmune disease. So I mean, it's not all bad. And I mean, I ate meat my whole life, and I'm still pretty healthy right now. But so I can't say that meat's not good. I mostly do it for the poor little animals that are fucking dying. They're being killed. It's great to be killed. I mean, technically we're raised to die. We live to die, so it's the same progression. But there's a lot of inhumane things being done to animals, and that's the problem. When you start killing them, say, don't worry, we're going to do humane. Well, in this day and age especially, some asshole's going to come along and say, well, this guy, you're paying this much for your animal. I'm going to sell it to you for this. And the reason why that guy's doing it for so much is because he's got to take care of those animals and, maintain them. They got to live with them. I mean, he's got to give them, a semi-decent fucking life and food and shit before they die. And then he's got to kill them and do all the other processes. And this other guy's just going to have them growing on their penises with fucking mutated DNA and steroids so they're bigger and they're just living intravenously. It's like fattened up enough that they can be slaughtered and killed, and that's not right. And you can say, well, technically, if you kind of manipulated and created that animal, then it's not really wrong because it shouldn't be there. But no, you're missing the point. No one should ever be fucking doing that with anything. No one should be playing God. If the thing in China is true where they're manipulating and you can pick the sex of your child and you can add or remove certain genes your child might have before you have the baby or while the baby's in the mom or whatever the case is, that's wrong. These things are happening genetically, environmentally, divinely, whatever the case is, they're happening because we have to learn things from this shit. And if we start meddling with, the genes of the babies being born and so on and so forth, and, we're already fucking with the animal, and look what's happening. 1 billion animals just died in fucking Australia. 1 billion. Imagine if 1 billion people died on the planet. Every fucking truther out there would be like, oh, I told ya, depopulation, blah, 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 blah. They'd have a fucking field day. But then they're going back and eating their fucking meat right now. And it's like, aha, it's coming. Yeah. Depopulation's coming, and they're eating the fucking meat like it doesn't even fucking matter. And it's like, well, as above, so below. As below, so above. If you consider animals below us and you're murdering the animals, well, what do you think's going to happen? If that's the fucking information you're putting out, is that it's okay to murder these animals, then why is everybody surprised when Mother Nature fucking opens up fucking fires on Australia and then 1 billion animals die? We probably kill more than that in a year. I don't know the stats, but it's probably damn close. And I mean, maybe I misheard it. Maybe it's 1 million and not 1 billion. I don't know, but either one of those numbers is staggeringly too fucking big. The point was, I told my wife, if you're going to cut back on the meat stuff for maybe a day or 2 days a week, whatever. We used to do something like that. Just make eggs or something. We haven't done it in a while. Things get so hectic and whatever. That's no excuse stuff. So that's what I did yesterday. I made eggs and fucking home fries and 2 other shits for my kids and family, but for the poor little animals in Australia. And that's another nice example that you can do. You can go get a fucking couple plants, put them in your house, and plant them in the spring if you can't plant shit right now. Like me when the ground's frozen. Although right now, it's mild as fuck where I am, and all the snow we had is completely melted. And I don't know when the last time this happened in January, but I know a lot of people are like, wow, this is fucking weird, man. What the fuck's going on? In that video I played with that girl, she's talking about that energy coming into Earth and how they're trying to start a pole shift. But we already won. Joke's on you. Shit like that. Sorry, I would come off like I'm teasing her, but I'm not. But the fact that she said they're trying to create a pole shift, she'll tell you 2 things. One, she's trying to get you to focus on that and try to make herself look innocent by saying, haha, we already won. And then people are like, well, did we? And start looking at shit, and then everybody's focused on pole shift. It's a trick, right? It's the same concept of saying, hey, don't do this to your child when they go and do it. You know what I mean? Same concept, just a different way of presenting it, by saying, you guys are never going to start a fucking pole shift. And you get people to look at it. And that's basically what she's saying. Trying to start this. She gives you all the information to show how the energy came in there. But then turns out and tells you something as big as, well, they already won. And I'm I'm not saying that's what she's doing. She probably has all the purest intentions, and and maybe not. I don't fucking know. I don't care whether she's an actual fucking light worker who's a warrior, or she's a fucking shill, or somebody who's just trying to reverse the polarity and get people to focus on the shit that no one should focus on. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. Because we did already win. We're always gonna win because we're creating reality. Problem is whoever's thinking about the whole shit at the same time are actually the winners. And that's why there's so many different things playing out. That's why we're divided up into countries, because everybody can't always think of the same shit. I know everybody wants to not focus on a world government, but at the same time in New Age, it's like, no, we are all one. And that gets misconstrued for people thinking that, well, maybe this is some kind of, maybe the people in New Age aren't necessarily part of any Illuminati elite groups, but maybe they're being manipulated to think and speak into existence. We're all one world, are united, so that when it does happen, and we think we did it on our own, then the government or whoever could swoop in and organize us, and now they've got what they wanted. And that is what it is. That's obviously a potential, but everybody needs to understand it. We make this shit as we go. No one has complete control over anything. And no one has the ultimate control over anything. Like, there's nothing that's sealed right now in fate, whether it's a good outcome or a bad outcome. There's nothing that's done. Like, this is what's going to play out. There's nothing like that. Everything and anything will play out. Unless you're the creator of the energy source, and obviously that knows, maybe even beings closest to them, whether it's the archangels or the planets or whatever the case is. But no one knows ultimately, like, what's going to happen. No one. Nobody knows shit. Okay? But I rather hear people say we already won and love wins and shit like that than to say what I just said, that no one knows. Because the more you say that, the more it makes people relax and think they won. And if everybody thinks they won, well, therefore you fake it till you make it. And that's amazing. Well, we did win. If everybody believes we won, especially people in the New Age or magical communities think we won some kind of etheric fucking battle for Earth, or the battle on Earth for, between good and evil, well then, everybody will be happy and peaceful, hopefully, and shit like that, right? You'd think, anyways. It's like when you want them to come in, you gotta feel as if it's already happened, right? So if everybody's feeling as if there's nothing to worry about, well then there'd be nothing to worry about if everybody was doing it right. So that's one of the reasons I don't think this woman's doing it. However, through her actions, she can be focused on pole shift. And holy fuck, right here where I am, there's been a pole shift, baby, because we're not supposed to get this kind of weather. Now, if Australia started getting snow right now, then that would be something. I'm getting a ton of rain right now, right? And I've been wishing for rain. Not for me, though, and now we're getting rain. But I still take it as a good sign. I got the rain, and then I stopped wishing when I heard the birds sing. Well, not wishing, you know what I mean. I was manifesting. I was doing it in a way, I was trying to do it in a way that hopefully would not, I always try to do things so it doesn't make anything. After I heard the whole mudslide shit like that, well, obviously I'm going to cut those things out of the skull, but not. So, anyways, the point is, I don't want to give any hints. I don't want people thinking they know the right way to do this, to keep spelling and try to help Australia. Best way you can help Australia, the best way you can not focus on the war, is to focus on yourself. Plain and simple. Do you. Find out what you want, or do what you want, or focus on what you want to happen. Okay? Now, as nice and honorable as it is to say, you know what, my money problems, all this shit doesn't matter, all the animals and people suffering in Australia, and all the families that lost people from this bullshit war crap, they're more important than me, so I want to send them healing and this and that. And that's fine. Send them healing if you want, but don't heal the situation, because you may make it worse. And no one wants to make that situation worse. That situation worse is a shitstorm. A terribly bad, unbelievably chaotic shitstorm. And I don't know. I really don't. I just know that the earth has a plan, the gods have a plan, so to speak. But we also got to make that plan. But you need to think of, you need to need to go 2 steps above, okay? Because if you just say, I want fire to be gone, you're not really doing much. You need to, like, find a solution that doesn't directly affect the fire, but that somehow indirectly brings rain and puts out the fire. You know what I mean? It's very hard to grasp that concept. But it's like, all right, let's take the Lyme disease, right? Lyme disease, Justin Bieber's got Lyme disease apparently from ticks, and so does Avril Lavigne. Okay, now ticks don't all have Lyme disease. Only infected ticks have Lyme disease, okay? But if you're to focus on just getting rid of the ticks from your house, well, you're going to bring more ticks because you're focusing on how you have ticks. And by buying the spray to spray around and shit like that, you are affirming that there are ticks there that you need to spray for to kill. Okay, so how would you get around this? How would you kill any possible ticks that are there without directly or indirectly focusing on ticks, like I just explained, basically? By buying that spray, you are telling everybody that you have ticks, basically, or saying that you're affirming you have ticks and you need a spray to kill the ticks. Well, you can focus on what gives a tick infection, okay? And then by getting rid of that, then you can get rid of the ticks, or what ticks mostly feed off of. Now, if there's rats and things like that, well, ticks will do that. So if you put out traps to kill rats or mice around your house or yard, therefore, then you would end your tick problem. Or if there's something, and I've done much research on what is infectious for ticks, but if you get rid of something that the ticks may go on and that creates the infection in your yard, well, therefore, you're getting rid of the possibility of having any ticks that are infected. And therefore, you're not focusing on ticks, so you're not going to get any ticks, but you're also getting rid of the main problem. You're actually dealing with something. You're putting action forth as well, you know. Then you can always make a spell and say you banish them, and instead you invoke or you replace those ticks with, the bug that kills ticks. So find out what that bug is, you know. And that's another way of doing it. Say, we have these bugs in my yard, you know. By doing that, well, if you do have ticks, so they're going to eat the ticks, then you might have that bug problem. But that's another example of how to get rid of the problem without focusing on the problem. And that's how you got to, and I'm not even going to give an example because my example could be wrong because I don't even think I'm ready to do things on that kind of level to help Australia. I mean, Birch declines doing it because of that story he says, you know what I mean? But, you know, then who am I to, well, I don't care if Birch doesn't do it. I'm going to do it. No, this guy's somebody I look up to, somebody who's helped me learn, and I'm just going to ignore what he said and go do this shit? No, unless you can find a way to, like seriously, find a way to solve the forest fire problem without focusing on just bringing rain to put out the fire. If you can, somehow get rid of whatever keeps causing the fire to go bigger, remove that indirectly to anything that would cause the fire to get even bigger, would be my best suggestion for that. So yeah, and maybe I'll keep going on that.
Then we can determine how much you may be able to.
And maybe I can keep going. Sorry about that. I turned off my car, and then the radio comes on for some stupid reason. But anyways, maybe we can go from there and figure out something on how to get rid of the forest fires. But I mean, what are you going to do? Take the air away from the fire so it can't breathe? Well, then you're going to kill any animals that are left or any people around there because they're not going to have the air. I mean, how the fuck do you take air away, right? What are you going to do? Banish all the dead wood away that's already on fire? I mean, I think at this point all the dead wood's gone and the fire that was expanding has taken all, evaporated. The rest of the wood that probably wasn't dead wood yet, that had water in it, is probably evaporated all that water from the double heat, So it's a very hard thing to, I don't even like talking about it because I don't want to expand, but it's a very fucking hard thing to figure out how to alleviate a problem. But if you can think a little deeper than just I banish the fire and I invoke rain, I mean, that's simple. You can do that, but you got to be more elaborate and fucking take out all the fucking things that can go wrong from too much rain. And this is why I say by doing it indirectly, because that's what happens. Because you think by just invoking rain and banishing fire, then that's great, and that gets rid of the problem. But then, like Burr said, you have mudslides, you have floods, you have all the shit that happens, right? Because where do you think all the crap from the fire is going to go? All the fucking shit. There's a big flood. It's just going to keep moving it. So you got to think about that. You got to find a way to reduce that fire. that would be your best bet, to try to figure out a way that you can reduce that fire to where people can put it out, something like that. Or anyways, but I hope you got my point by indirectly, like with the ticks. Like I said, if you have a tick problem for whatever reason, the ultimate way to get rid of ticks, or to make sure you never get ticks, if you don't want to do either one of those, is just make sure you shower once a day. And if you really want to be protected, then shower twice a day. Because people used to say 12 hours, it ticks on your body, and then it starts going in. But then they found out it's 24 hours. So take that for what it is. If the first way was right and they changed it to 24 so they want people to get infected so people don't worry about it as much, who knows? Or maybe it really is. So that's why I say every 12 hours, that's twice a day. If you have a shower, you're going to protect yourself, because they walk around your body and find the best spot to go in. Because once they go in, they can't get out, right? So they want to make damn sure of where they're going. So that's why they do that. So by showering or giving your kids a bath, they're going to fall off. They can't stay on your body unless they started already going in. So by showering once a day or having a bath once a day, easy enough. Same thing with anything. Put oil on, because oil will get rid of your lice, your ticks, your anything, because it suffocates it. It needs air still to breathe. It's putting a hole in your skin, but somehow it lives off your blood, but it still needs air, right? Because before it gets your blood, it's breathing off the air. But by putting that on, it smothers it. It can't, have the air. Same with the lice on the head. They can't go in if it's too greasy or has builds up or whatever. That's why people that put gel and hairspray in their hair, they don't really get ticks. Head lice. And just like fleas for dogs, if you put enough oil, make an oil puppy or oil kitty, they get smothered because they don't get the air in there and they can't get out, because once they try to get out, it's too fucking slippery. You know what I mean? It's just they just go into nowhere. So, if you have them or are trying to prevent them, this is the way. You don't necessarily need to go to Walmart and get stuff like that. You just need to put oil in the hair, but you need to be committed. You need to do it all the time. If your child has head lice, putting oil in their hair one day is not going to probably do it, unless you add spells to that and you find out how they were getting the lice and you banish that situation away. But anyway, I'm going to have to go drive my son to cadet again. Weirdly enough, the rain is starting to stop, and looks like the sun's about to come out, which is fucking beautiful. So hopefully this will move wherever. But anyways, I don't really have a plan to talk about things today, even though I started off with 2 topics that I said I was going to talk about. I kind of forget what those are right now. So I'm going to go back and listen to the beginning of this, and then I'll come back on, and I'll try to elaborate on those fucking 2 points, since I've gone way off on a few things. But I think they're important, because I don't want everybody in the world who's in magic doing something for them. I don't think that's the case, because I think there's a lot of people in magic, especially when you first start. It's more selfish than anything, It's more egotistical, like, I know I'm a powerful being. I've always been powerful since I was a kid. I got this good imagination, and this, that, and, all those symptoms and signs you see. Well, when people start identifying with that, they might start thinking they're above people. And I'm not saying this to be, condescending or a dick. I did it at one point, so. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoy. And, this is not a whole show. I'll be back on, because I need to close those 2 combos out. But, yeah, anyways. I hope you enjoy. Bye. So, I don't really know where I left off. I just took a picture. I don't really know where I fucking left off, but I know I was talking about, basically, the trees and the war, and to focus on yourself rather than focusing on those things, and that would actually help by people not giving energy and their focused mind power to those events. And by, watching the news and the media and seeing what's going on, you're going to have probably an emotional response, especially if they add a little bit of flavor to it. So it gets you on like honestly, I hope this doesn't sound incompassionate or come off as a dick that cares more about animals than people, but that's not the case. I care about probably both equally almost. But it affected me more when I heard about people that have lost their homes and whatever. I'm not sure. I don't think I heard of there being fatalities to any people yet, but I'm sure maybe, I don't know. Anyways, when I heard the million or the billion, which is a big difference, so I'm pretty sure it was a billion. But anyways, when I heard how many animals had passed away, I had the biggest emotional response. I teared up and all. And that's why I told my wife, reducing meat or take a day off of meat, to just show, all the Australian animals and there's the goddess and whoever that, we care and shit like that. Because who knows, like, the creation of animals, however you want to think of it. If you want to take the story from the Bible where God makes the animal and Adam fucking names it, that's man and that's like man and God creating it. Obviously the goddess has a part in it too, because the animal's created from the earth as well, just like Adam was created from the earth. But anyways, you want to take that way as how the animals started, or just straight up from Gaia, or they were already here, or they evolved like us, or we evolved from them. It doesn't really matter, but Gaia is the force. And like, I had a video before, and I was explaining how we're all the cells of God. We're all in the mind of God. God is all there is, and God shot us down. We all broke off from God, whatever, however you want to interpret that. In that episode where I said we're all the cells of God, I said we're like the cancer cells in the individual human body. A cancer cell in the human body thinks it's reached its own consciousness, and it can live without the human body, without the rest of the cells. It thinks it can live without everybody, without this being connected to source, without being connected to the body, right? So on a human level, the cells in our body, they need us to live, and we need them to live, right? We live in this symbiotic relationship where, the cells allow us and our organs to do everything we need them to do, but in turn we have to eat, breathe, drink, exercise, do all these things right to make ourselves have the electricity, energy, and be healthy so they can live and die and regenerate. Live, die, regenerate. Keep that cycle continuously going so we can do that as long as possible as well. When we stop doing that, eating right and all this shit, then our cells stop thinking they need the host as well. We start living without thinking about ourselves, basically. We're not eating and taking care of ourselves the right way. Therefore, as above, so below. Once again, your cells start doing the same thing in return. Start saying, well, no, I don't need to work together with all the nervous system or, the skeletal system or any of these systems. You know what I mean? I figure out how to do this shit by myself. I'm awakened. I'm conscious. I know everything. And then it starts growing, right? Because it needs to get bigger because it's got to do everything by itself now. And we call that a tumor. Now I'm just speculating a little bit here, but it's not all speculation. Some of this has already been proven. Point is, we are that in nature for the as above, so below part, okay? That happens within the human body when someone develops cancer or whatever. For whatever reason, okay? I'm not saying all cancers are because of what we eat or drink or don't drink or don't eat or whatever the case is. Who knows why cancer started? It happens from stress. I still maintain that it's when you put emotion into fear for anything. And, stress is the number one cause for cancer, they say. Well, what's stress? Well, it's depending on what you think anxiety is, but anxiety is like worrying about something that hasn't happened yet. Stress is also defined kind of the same way, right? Being anxious, you don't want to go around crowds because you get too anxious and shit like that. Anyways, point is, if stress is one of the number one causes, and stress is you worrying about something that hasn't happened yet. Well, therefore, if you're worrying, fear, and you're thinking about a situation that hasn't happened yet, so you're adding fear to that situation. I maintain that's how cancer is mostly started. I think there is a big part of it, though, is also what you eat and drink, or what you don't eat and what you don't drink, plays a fucking role as well. Absolutely. So, all that being said, when that starts happening within your body, when you stop not eat the correct things, and then, your cells stop doing the correct things, as above, so below, and then it starts thinking it can live without the host, which is crazy, because if we try to live without our host, our God, if we don't live in a symbiotic relationship with the people around us, we don't have any friends, if people are making fun of us, if we're not eating or drinking right or not sleeping, all these things that we need to do, right, correctly, like everything the cell needs to do correctly, then we are going to die, basically. Be as spiritual as you want, think you have the trigger to life, and take spirulina and chia seeds every fucking day, but you don't have anything else sleep or meditate or be spiritual or exercise or have a job or have a purpose or, have even a routine, you're going to perish. You're not going to last long, which is another reason why I play Jordan Peterson a lot. And I think that's his point. So my whole point of this was to say that in the whole animal, plant, insect, ground, elemental kingdom, okay, us humans are made up from the elements just like everything else is. But we are the cells that would be akin to the cancer cells. And, there's actually people that said that we are a cancer on the planet. And Peterson hates when people say that because we come a long way. And we've mastered a lot of things, and we've made the world a better place. So he thinks we deserve a little bit of sympathy for our position because, you don't know what you don't know. And then once you do know what's wrong and right, well, it's easy to pass judgment on the past, but they didn't know what they didn't know, so you can't just judge those things and say they were wrong. Well, obviously they were wrong, but you could also be wrong right now because there could be a better way that you're not analyzing. But in the same sense, I understand. I don't know if that's how they mean that we're a cancer on the planet, because I'm literally saying that we are like a cancer cells. We are the cells that can develop into cancer is what I mean by not like what cancer cells are, because that's a whole different thing, but similar. But anyways, we are those cells that start thinking we can live without God or source or without being in harmony with the planet or animals and all that. And then once that happens, we group up with like-minded cells and convince other people that our way is right, and then we become this little group. But it's a cancer within the whole bigger, broad outlook of society because, most people have a different ideal and think, no, these people are wrong. You can say about the New Age community, or you can maintain that that's not what New Age is. Doesn't really fucking matter. I don't think that's what it is at all. I think there are aspects of it that are like that, but I don't think the entire thing is like that. But animals are living in a symbiotic relationship with the planet. Maybe not our pets necessarily, but I think our pets are way more in tune than we are most of the time anyway, depending on how we control and force them to do things, kind of like our children. When they're younger, they're probably in sync with nature, and therefore as they get older, they get removed from sync, and that's why things start hurting and crushing and depression, this and that and the other thing. But anyways, what I'm trying to get at by this is nature knows that. And I don't want to say this is right because I don't think it's ever right to, because people have said I killed my kids because I didn't want the Illuminati to kill them or shit like that. This crazy world's going to kill them, so it was a passion kill. And okay, they might have a point if those things have been playing out, and there certainly are some bad things playing out, like even in World War II, and the other concentration camps that no one's taught about, like in Maoist China, or in the SS, in the Soviet Union, sorry, not the SS, but yeah, the Nazis as well, but Soviet Union, when they both had their concentration camps after World War II that no one's educated about, there were parents and some things that did that because, if you have a daughter who was developed enough for whatever, okay, and I don't want to say anything terrible because even talking about this makes me cringe and get tears in my eyes, but imagine if you knew some soldier could come and do some indecent stuff to your daughter and she'd have to go through that, and you might even have to hear it and see it and be powerless to do anything. Well, there's a hell of a good point there to do a mercy kill to your daughter. Oh my God, I can't even finish this. But anyways, but that would be the only time I could see myself doing something like that, or if I knew my children were gonna, But even then, how the fuck could you kill your own kids? But wow, I'm way off topic. Anyways, I can't even talk about this anymore. But oh my God. Anyways, so there's that aspect of it, and I bring that up because when Mother Nature decides to, have forest fires, once again, there's no proof that she decided to have this forest fire. It all depends on what the official story is, and if that official story is true. If it was caused by lightning, well, you can say lightning comes from the sky, it's from Thor, it's from Jupiter. Well, no, Jupiter's pretty far away. He doesn't shoot lightning down here. Well, as above, so below. He's in a body, he could do it. Well, yeah, okay. But there's something people don't think about when it comes to lightning and thunder. There could be a God commanding it and doing it. Absolutely. I'm not going to say that. But the rain clouds come from the oceans, the water. Everybody knows that, right? So much rain evaporates. starts going up in the sky, but it's not really gone. It goes up. It becomes clouds as higher as it goes because, that steam that evaporated, once you cool it down again. I mean, I can get into that, but it's probably going to bore the shit out of you, and some people might like it. But anyway, the point is, the water in the clouds come from the ocean, and it goes back to the ocean. And the ocean is part of Mother Earth. Now, I know we separate the elements, and you could say, well, that's the water element. Absolutely. And then there's the earth element. Absolutely. So, what water is doing to earth, you know what I mean? But there's a connection between lightning, thunder, clouds, rain. And it comes from there. You know what I mean? And these elements are connected to each other. They're not like the planets in the sky that we say when they're opposed to each other, they get into fights. I mean, obviously they can, and they probably have. But the elements live in harmony with each other. And if we are killing, abusing, and doing terrible things to animals, well, the compassionate mother who sees what's happening to her animals on Earth, what would you think she would do? Now, this is once again speculation. I'm not saying Mother Nature's pissed off at us because we are torturing animals and trying to make them fucking, intravenously fed. So we're eating them left, right, and center because, like I said before, we probably kill more than she's just killed, every single year. So it's kind of like, oh, Mother Nature's taking it out on us. What a bitch. No. Fuck no. I mean, we take it out on her. I can look around my yard right now and see a bunch of garbage that I didn't put out, but I allow my kids to put out and haven't made them pick it up yet, and I'm complicit in that. We know garbage isn't good for the environment. And you can see there's arguments on both sides saying, oh, yeah, we can do whatever the fuck we want on this planet. She'll never be destroyed. No, but we will. But we will. That's the point. We're not going to destroy the planet. She's going to survive. She's a fucking planet. Once again, planet is not the right word. It's an invented word by man who describes what Gaia, Terra, planet Earth is, okay? But even like the elements, earth, air, fire, wind, okay? That's how we talk about those things. Those names are given to them in a different language, and we interpret it in our language to this now. Who knows if that's even accurate, but point is, that's not actually what you would call these things. But they kind of understand, and you can use that. But anyways, she's not worried. No one's worried about Earth. I know some people say that, but no, we should be worried because we're way more fragile than she is. I mean, go back to the Grant Morrison fucking thing. I played a long fucking time ago, multiple times too. She's survived ammonia atmospheres and lava and everything being on just no oxygen or air, that anybody could breathe. And she was here, she was doing her thing, and us who are born from her are fucking her up. You know what I mean? We're like the ungrateful child who takes, but never gives back. And then she's got all these other little children on the planet in the form of trees, water, the air, fire, you know what I mean? All these different aspects of her, and we just fucking destroy it. Just destroy it like it doesn't mean anything. And then we wonder why she takes it out on us, And I'm not one of them doom and gloom people that think global warming's going to hit and we're all going to be wiped out. But I'm not so naive to think that it can't happen either. I'm back and forth on that idea. But, yeah, we're all part of the cells that make up this earth, or the God, or both, God and Goddess. They created this whole entire earth. Or the seven created this whole entire earth. However way you want to look at it. Or maybe it was just Yahweh. I don't know. But someone created this earth. Okay? Whoever that is that created this earth isn't a person that's in the Bible walking around with Adam and Eve. But that story does have value. And it's not like, I can take what Birch said previous on this, or I can take what Peterson says in his fucking lectures about, the planet and Earth and, about the Bible. And, both are accurate in their own way, and both could be the true possibility. And I think they're both right. I think it all depends on the reader, how you interpret that body of work. Like I said, I'm not against the Bible. I think the Bible is absolutely great. I think you can learn a lot from it. Birch says in Sumerian, they were talking about the planets. Cain and Abel were planets. And then in the Bible, those planets are actually personified. But it's maybe because there's too many skeptics that wouldn't believe there are planets. You know what I mean? It doesn't really matter if it's planets or people, as long as you understand it, to show you how not to be or how to be. These are the stories that were written down a long time ago to help mankind out. Now, yes, it was taken and flipped and turned into a doctrine to enslave us and all that. Sure, absolutely, I'll give you that. However, I don't know about the whole enslavement part anymore. I think we do that to ourselves. That's part of the process. And then after we enslave ourselves, we free ourselves. So you can only be free once you've been enslaved. And you can only be enslaved. You can only consider yourself enslaved once you know what freedom is. Before you know freedom, you'll think what you're doing is freedom. But then once you taste the real freedom, then you don't know what being enslaved was. And more so, if you go back into whatever was enslaving you, and you do it by choice, then you can understand the difference and be neutral to it and see the reason, which is the reason I went back to work, but you can see the necessity for having a job or whatever you think is enslaving you, whether it's your wife, if it's your bills, doesn't matter, but there's something enslaving you. And once you can rise above whatever's enslaving you and then experience that freedom, then you know the difference. And then once you're done that, you have to go back in to the belly of the fucking beast and feel what that enslavement is. And it doesn't have to be the same one. You could experience a different type of enslavement via whatever you want to call it. And then it could be like, first time you thought your job was enslavement, but then you got yourself your own little business and everything's working out. Okay, so now the next point is going to be being enslaved to money. Because if your home business requires work, okay, you can wish for it and get the magical end taken care of and have all the opportunities brought to you. But you can't keep magically creating your business just to keep working. You're going to have to work at that as well. You can do magic to help that, but you're going to have to take action. And this is why Pearson, this is what I like about Pearson, because a lot of people think he just means just being happy, and then maybe it's just me because I thought this in the beginning, and this is one of the reasons I wasn't sure about him, because he tends to preach that you need a job and you need to do these things to be happy. And the trick is to be happy within the job that you hate, figure it out, and because you make your own personal hell. You know, talk to somebody, figure out what you need to do to get better. But in hindsight, I've heard him say other things like, if you're not happy, if you're in a job that's sucking the life out of you, but you have responsibility, you don't know what to do, well, you need to start taking steps towards finding a new job, doing something that you actually like, sitting down and figuring out what you like, writing it down. He does that a lot with college students, university students. But anyways, the point is, he tells you you're able to, you know, obviously if you have responsibilities like kids and payments, you can't just quit your job and then figure out, okay, this is what I want to do, and then you're going to have it. But while you're working, you start figuring out what you need, and I've said this before, and then, you know, maybe you have to take some courses towards that. Maybe you need to get a business license. Maybe you need to talk to the bank and try to get a loan. But you do this all while you're working so you don't let your family suffer while you are trying to make it. If you have said family. Now, if you don't have such family, then yeah, you want to make yourself suffer while you figure it out. That might give you the urgency to make it go faster. Because the problem with jobs sometimes is, as long as someone has one, they'll never go and find their true passion. They'll never actually leave because they have that security. Sometimes security can mimic freedom, but it's not the same fucking thing. You're being secure at home and having the money to do whatever you want, or having the money to pay your bills and have a little bit extra, sometimes may feel like freedom, but it ain't freedom. And likewise, if you're free but you don't have much fucking money, well, you're not very free either, because yeah, you may not be working a 9 to 5, but if you don't have the money to do whatever you want to do, or go wherever you want to go, or whatever the case is, you can say, well, that's just material shit. Yeah, but we live in the material universe. We were put here for a fucking reason. There's a reason why we see everything around us and we don't actually just see the cells of it vibrating, whether it's the fucking fence I'm looking at beside my house or my hand. You know, they're both things that are vibrating, okay? And there's gaps in between those cells and atoms that are vibrating, but we can't see them because we have to work to either learn to see them or figure out how to get to the next realm where we can see those things. But that's kind of the point I'm trying to make. Well, no, that's not has nothing to do with the point I'm trying to make, but I guess the point I was trying to say was, you don't have to necessarily make your shitty situation good by just being all love and light and being, I'm going to be positive today and find the positive in everything. No. Take the steps, because sometimes anger and fear can motivate you to do some pretty powerful things. They're not all bad, but like Saturn and Mars, they're more bad than good. And it's like positivity. It's not all good. You know, positive ions can give you a bunch of different diseases, but it's got more good than bad. Actually, I don't know about this day and age, but I'm still pretty sure that counts. But you can't just make your situation good. and hope for it to be good. And, you can do a residual to enjoy your job, whatever the case is, and then something might come up for you to enjoy your job. But once that works, I would say, well, why don't you cast for something like a job that you're meant to do or something like that, or find something you actually like doing instead of fucking with your brain so you like something you don't like. Once again, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how you do it as long as you do it. But that's why I think Peterson is essential, because he teaches the fact that you can be happy and get what you want within reason, because you do have responsibilities. You can't just piss the responsibility away and just do what you want, because that's not how it works. But if you don't have any responsibility, well, then you're like a clean slate. You're potential, and you can do whatever the fuck you want, basically. But if you have people counting on you, you just can't walk out of those lies and do whatever the fuck you want because someone else told you so, or you're new age or you're spiritual or whatever the case is. But and this comes back to that whole tree thing where you burn off the dead wood a little bit, which I haven't found yet, but when I go back in, I'm going to be finding it. But when you burn off a little bit of dead wood so it doesn't pile up, well, then you're more healthy and you're able to see what's wrong with you. And then the more you work on all these issues over and over again, clearing out your dead wood so it doesn't catch on fire and ultimately kill you and just take people down with you. If you do that continuously, well, then you'll get to a point where you won't even be collecting deadwood anymore, because the days that the job that you have suck, or it could be just some days where you're just absolutely bored. Everything's going good, but just so boring and mind-numbingly dull depending on what job you got. And yeah, absolutely, that could be the case. But I think more often than not, when someone's in a bad mood, their job sucks. When someone's in a good mood, their job is doable. And it all comes down to your state of mind. Now, it doesn't mean if you're experiencing bad states or confused or hate what's going on in the world today that you can just wish it away or be all love and light and then poof, it's gone magically. No, but there is some utility in trying to keep the work stuff at work and keeping your home stuff at home and changing that persona, creating an identity that likes your job and is good at it and is going forward and is eventually going to be in alignment with what you're supposed to do. And through working at your job now, you're going to develop the necessary skills to become the ultimate you that does what the ultimate you is supposed to do, making sigils or writing that in a story or just taking on that persona, writing all that down and then maybe giving it a name or giving it an adjective. I am this and I am this. So as soon as you get into work or before you even get to work, half an hour before, you're saying that over and over again, or you're putting that on your ears or whatever. This way, every time you go into work, you have a different persona, different person there, basically, who deals with all the work stuff. And then you can just shut that off at the end of the day, go home and be the other person. That's something that's helped me and benefited me like crazy. I don't even consider it magic, but it most certainly is magic. I don't even know if it's the type of magic I made up, but it was the NLP stuff from David... well, you know the guy, David, what the fuck is his last name? Anyway, from the David guy who thinks about NLP and all that shit there that I recently can't stop talking about. David Snyder. It was his idea of personalities, because if you say I'm a smoker or I'm fat, and then if you change it to my body sometimes smokes. I forget how he words it, but anyways, or you get rid of the I am, because when you say I am, you have a personality. You are saying this is what you are, this is your identifier, this is your group. And you don't want to be part of a negative group like that. So switch that to something you want to be, and then, go to those, hang out if you can with people that are that, or go places where they live, or watch them on YouTube, or listen to their books, and then you will eventually keep becoming what you want to be. So I took that principle and I put it into my work and said, okay, well, this is what I am when I'm here. And then after my shower and I swipe out, I take that persona off and okay, now I'm back to Corey LeBlanc, the wonderful husband and amazing fucking father who never gets tired of his kids and never gets upset. No, that's not healthy, but I think you get what I'm saying.
Yes, because one of the things he says, David Snyder, one of the things he said was, if someone in the room was a teacher, okay, I am a teacher, and then he asked them to change it, okay, and then they say, I teach children, or I teach. Anyways, he gets them to word it in a different way, where there's no I am, okay, there's no this is my identity, this is what I am, or all that I am, or something like that, Because whenever you get rid of the identity in that case, Okay, you get rid of anything that goes along with that. You know what I mean? Because you don't know all the things that people put into that. If you look at identities, and this is another reason I've been going on about thought forms and egregores, because thought forms, egregores, servitors, all those things, okay, they combine, or their correspondences for almost everything, okay? And once again, with the way Pearson teaches it, like he teaches to work on yourself, to work on your identity, to become whatever you want to become. If you don't like what you are right now, okay, well then figure out what you want. So right then and there, you're writing down an egregore, a servitor of what you want to be, basically, okay? A thought form, sorry. You're not necessarily creating an egregore, because you're not creating an entity to help you become that. But in a manner of speaking, if you write down what you want to become, and whether it's you writing in the future or about your future, whatever, or writing what you want to banish and what you want to replace all these negative attributes, okay? Basically, this is your thoughts, okay? This is a thought form. This is the egregore of you. This is you in the future. This is what you want to be, okay? But it's hard, because if you get writing, and if you do it correctly, if you're actually into it, you're going to feel some type of way when you're writing that shit. It's going to feel good thinking about yourself being successful, owning a business, finding the one you love, buying a house, whatever it is, whatever you're writing down, okay? So this becomes a thought form in a manner of speaking. And I'm gonna think of a thought form and try to think of it as less magical as possible, okay? This is your thought, a form of thought that you're writing down, okay? But you start putting emotion in that baby and you're creating that potential to happen. So it's not necessarily an entity that you just created walking around beside you everywhere you go, but if that helps you realize what thought forms are, then great. Because I can't tell you exactly what a thought form is, but I do know if you take the time to create an entity and visualize it and all that shit, well, yeah, you can make that motherfucker, and then that motherfucker is going to help you do whatever you programmed it to do. Problem is most people don't program these things right, or to laugh, or they don't do it with the magical rules like banishing and invoking, right? You want something to last. Well, if you don't banish something and invoke the new thing, but you're trying to add something to your being, okay? And you most certainly can do that, but it may not last as long because your default might come back. And it's the same thing when I talked about people who are trying to quit or abstain from drugs or any really bad addiction that's going to propel them into the ground, basically, not propel them into the sky. Whenever they try to get rid of something, they could actually really want it. You can really want something. You say, well, this person really put on a good show, but ultimately they really must not want to quit. Well, no, maybe they really did want to quit, but if they don't know that they have to banish something to and then invoke something to actually replace that out of your mind, if you created the habit, if you created the programming in your mind, you can't just delete that shit. Because once again, the reason it's not easy to delete programming is so you don't ever forget how to walk or talk or things like that, the essential things you need. Because I'm telling you right now, I've done some magics in the past that fucked me over for a little bit until I realized my mistake. What I mean was banishing programming when I didn't know. Like I told everybody how I did some program banishing. And whether you believe it or not, it doesn't matter. But not even a year later, I was very nihilistic, but I no longer had those beliefs either. But I didn't invoke new beliefs. I thought I did, but I had not done it completely correct. And it wasn't until I kept watching the same shit over and over again, even when I didn't feel like it, when I thought there was no point, that I actually put in the new programming. And I mean, it's a little more elaborate than that, but that's the short version. So if you don't do something correct, it's all right. You can go back and fix it, but until you get the knowledge to fix it, you can't really fucking fix it. But I'm kind of off the topic. But the thought forms kind of go towards everything. So when you're writing down this new identity you want to be, if you're thinking, doing the self-authoring program from him, or just writing down what you want. Maybe you do this monthly like I do, the things you want to get. And if you wrote something down for like the entire year, well, if anything you've gotten, you check off that list, maybe add some new ones, whatever the case is. Well, this is kind of like writing, and I'm not saying this is how you make an egregore, but in a certain sense, you're creating that thought form. Now it's a potential. It's a form of thought somewhere. Now, I'm not using that in the same sense of like how witches and ceremony magicians and anybody in magic uses the word thought forms, okay? Because thought forms can be a negative entity or a positive entity that's around you. And they can be super elaborate or super simple. But now you've created this thought form. And when it comes to personalities and all the I am things, like I am a smoker, or I am a drinker, or I am a gambler, okay? If If you wanted to get rid of something, it would be beneficial for the same thing. I am free from smoking, and I am now an entrepreneur who owns his own clothing business or whatever fucking business you want. And maybe the one thing holding you back is the fact that you got this addiction that's eating up all your money. But you have the talent, you have the brains, you have the resources, you have the time, you have the freedom to make this business. But you can't because you're always drinking or gambling or whatever the case was. I mean, that's kind of weird, but it's just an example. And if you were to do that, and then, you do visuals of that, you do the recording thing I told you to do, you do the water, fucking magic, I said to do, and you put in a ritual, and, you do affirmations, whatever way, you're going to get rid of that a lot faster. Frederick Xavier, he talks about how he got rid of his caffeine addiction. And, he had very small withdrawal symptoms because it's not like getting rid of an opiate addiction or anything. But when I don't have caffeine, I get fucking headaches. I know how that is. Everybody kind of knows that who has caffeine every day, and then all of a sudden one day they don't have caffeine. It can be pretty brutal, and then you have that first sip of caffeine and it goes away. Is that all in your head, or is that actually a withdrawal? Who the fuck knows? Who the fuck cares? It doesn't matter what causes it. It matters that it's caused.
So, yeah, what I'm trying to get at there, I guess, with the whole caffeine addiction that Frederick Xavier was able to get rid of, is simply the fact that, he did a physical, and he was able to get rid of caffeine addiction. Now, he got the withdrawals, and he got rid of it. But all I was trying to say was that whenever you had a sip of caffeine, and you're positive that caffeine is causing you a headache, well, then obviously the outcome is going to be as soon as you have that coffee, it's going to go away. I mean, you take a Tylenol when you have a headache and you know it's going to go away in 20 minutes, it generally does, right? In your head. If you have any doubts, well, then sometimes some might go away, some might come back, whatever the case is. The mind's more powerful than anything. But there's utility in putting belief in an item or something, a liquid, whatever the case is. There's power in doing that. And when you have belief that this thing is going to take away that, then, oh, you got it. Now, here's an extreme example. If we saw results that chemotherapy got rid of cancer 99 to 100% of the time, then it wouldn't matter if it actually got rid of it or not. But if we had the proof that it did, and everybody said, no, don't worry, you got cancer, chemo, get rid of it, but it would be a cure, right? Then it would work, okay? Right now, people have gotten rid of cancer from various things, from oils, from these experiments, these different surgical or operations they've done in China with, I know of two that I've seen on a video, mind you, video can be altered and all that, but I don't think that's the case. But once again, I'm not so naive that I can't be the case, and I'm not so naive to think, and I'm not so skeptical that it can't be true. The point is, there's many different ways people say cancer can be cured. Now, if someone is into all this stuff and they get cancer, and they have a friend or know somebody or have been watching a bunch of different things, and it doesn't even have to be just healing. All magical operations are magical operations, whether it's manifesting something in your life, banishing a disease, getting yourself rich, or manifesting a lover, whatever the case is. If you're watching that day in and day out, well, then you're putting in a programming that this stuff works. And if you do it correctly, and by that I mean if everything you watched, okay, if you got the steps down, because your subconscious has the steps in its law, okay? Your subconscious also has the law that it's governed by. So if you get the step right from what you're watching, and the laws aren't a part of that, or they're not adhering to the law, well, yeah, your magic's not going to work. But if those steps are in line with the laws, magical laws, because they're at principle, okay, and then you don't get the step right, well, you're also giving your subconscious an out. Well, I was going to do it for them, but you forgot there's one fucking step. That's where when people get too analytic, anal on themselves, you know what I mean? The only time that's really going to be a problem is if you know you did it wrong, if you think you did it right, and you have absolute belief that the system works, and you've been watching magical things, and you've been watching like results, like I said before. If you go and watch all the mailbags or the results that Frederick Xavier says, all the what's it called? He calls it when people send in mail saying what they accomplished, basically the manifestation, the results. Okay, testimonial. If you're watching all the testimonials from him or any of the magical practitioners, and you do that for any length of time, hopefully at the very least 21 days as well, for a substantial amount of time, and hopefully during that time. Sometimes you could be kind of, you gotta make sure you're not, and it's not hard to get into trance-like state. People put too much emphasis on the trance-like state, and I was one of them. I used to think I wasn't doing it right, I was doing it right, and then got some results, and from those results, I realized I was doing it right, but I never really knew. I was also too in my head, like, okay, well, maybe it was the one time that I thought I did it right that did it, and all those other times I didn't really do shit, and it doesn't matter, because trance is like faking it till you make it, baby. You just fake yourself into a trance and trick your mind to being into a trance. Okay, you can do that on another person too. It's not hard. That's where the NLP hypnosis stuff from David Snyder is going to be one of your best friends for this, because if that's where if you're having issues and you think you can get in a trance, then watch the episodes, maybe up one of the links so you don't have to take some of the guesswork out for you having to watch all his episodes, but he talks about that a lot. That, I'll pretend you're going to say it. So pretend you're in the deepest trance you've ever been in. So by pretending you're in a trance, it's almost like I said about the whole I am thing, about the identity. Okay, you are identifying right now that you're in a trance. You're pretending you're in a trance. But by pretending you're in a trance, you're actually in a trance. Okay, I can do a whole video on this. The short version is, and this is how he puts it, when you're playing as a kid. Okay, when you first started playing as a kid. Let's say you were playing a fighting game with guns or a sword game. For me, it was swords more than guns. But I did play gun games too as a kid. But when I say make believe, actually, if I'll be honest, for me, make believe was being a singer on stage, star on stage, being in front of a big crowd of people, now they're making them laugh or entertaining them by singing or doing a show or something like that. Mostly, it was playing guitar or singing, sometimes drums, stuff like that. Mostly singing, second was guitar, third was drum. Sometimes piano, but that was like before. But I've only loved the piano. But anyway, point is, when I first started the game, what I was using, whether it was a broom, a baseball bat, it doesn't matter. Anything that was long enough that I could hold on one end, like the neck of the guitar, that I could strum on the other end, like the string guitar, I was good to go. I didn't even necessarily need a mic when I was playing guitar because I was already singing anyway. It was just kind of stand up like that. And then anytime I was playing guitar, because I was the secondary, I was the lead, I was really guitar, it didn't matter. I would grab my drill and stick remote, whatever was around, and similar to a fucking microphone and singing that. If I was only singing, then I have that already. Point is, when I was playing with kids, when I first started doing that, some of this isn't just when I was little. I mean, I'm talking about fucking high school sometimes, still doing it. When I felt lonely or didn't know what to do, instead of going outside, playing a video game, I would just imagine shit in my room. I actually got a lot of joy out of that, believe it or not. And something that's kind of weird to say out loud, to be honest, but it is what it is. I really like playing pretend because it's something I really wanted to do, and I never thought I could be a singer. So it's better to pretend something in my mind than to never happen at all, right? So you do what you love, whether for a living or not. If you do it at first for the sake of doing it, then it might turn out to be something. But that's a whole different thing. But anyway, this was the short version. Corey, stay on top. So I knew those things weren't guitars and a microphone, but before I knew it, I was in front of a stage. I was on a stage in front of people. There's microphones there, and I could literally zero in the people in the audience. So what I mean was I see the whole entire crowd. And my eyes are open, my eyes are closed. I wasn't asleep. I was awake. I was in no sleep-like trance. I wasn't before bed. Now that doesn't change the fact that every time before you go to sleep, you enter those states. Those are still very powerful, and you should be using them. But at the same time, as a kid, when you play pretend, if you can go back to that right now, even if it's just for practice, to play along, then do it. Okay? When you go to the altar, it should be the same thing. But for 1 minute, that's a fucking deodorant stick, and this is a fucking broom. The next minute, it's a microphone, it's a guitar, and there's a bunch of people in front of me, and even a girl I like in my classes, or multiple girls I like in my classes, we're all in the audience, standing beside each other, and I can still see the whole audience, so you guys can hear the conversation, because I was the one making them talk, and they were talking about how good I was, how hot I was, how whatever the case was. But this is me as a kid, like I said, if I'm 14 at the time, well, I was during puberty, so obviously there's maybe girls involved. So I'm singing to impress everybody, but it's also something I like to do. But the main part was me impressing the girls too. So I had this whole big storyline. In and out of it like that. As soon as I saw I think they were outside my door, out of trance. You know what I mean? Once they were gone, back into trance, or back into my imagination. But that's the point. Pretend you're into trance. Play pretend. Play pretend is the same as trance. Visualization, imagination, same as trance. Okay? For anybody out there who's getting stuck with the trance, okay, they can go somewhere else, they can light a candle, they can do the physics, they can do all that. They have trouble trancing out, or being in trance, or even meditation. Well, think of it as this before you go to that altar, okay? Right, you look at your altar right now, bunch of candles, bunch of statues, symbols, maybe there's a plant, maybe there's a book open, your shadow book of shadows, maybe you got some tarot cards there, you got a bunch of little talismans that represent the planet, or maybe not talismans, amulet is something that would draw something to you, I think, or protection and talisman, something that, one or the other. I use those words interchangeably, but I know that's not how they use it. I didn't want to piss anybody off. Like, oh, you know what I'm talking about. For the wrong version of that. And no, I know the right version, but it doesn't matter. I have something in my pocket. I program that something to do a specific task. So that falls in the definition of a talisman around it. It doesn't matter to me. I'm going to do what I told it to do because I control this shit. But anyway, before you go to the altar, all those things are the things you put there for a reason. But once you're there, you shouldn't even be seeing that altar anymore, depending on what you're doing. Okay? If you're using the altar during your ritual, then use it. If you're not, if you have multiple altars, then you got to pretend it's something else. You got to see the watchers. You got to see the archangels. You got to see the space. You got to see that coming through you. So that is your trance. Understand that. Okay? Take the breath, get in a relaxed position, put your tongue up against the roof of your mouth and do the 4-fold breath. One of the best things you can do. Because it's going to make that chi go around you a lot better and shit like that. And you can say, well, you just imagine that. Well, yeah, I bet. Are you just imagining ultraviolet rays? Are you just imagining all the things you can't see? Are you just imagining breath going in your mouth? Or is it real breath going in your mouth? Obviously, there's real breath, but can you see it? No, but you know it's there, right? It doesn't matter. None of that matters. But when you're doing military, you imagine that comes through your crown. Okay, fucking process, hitting all those centers, okay? And you trace in those pentagrams, you trace them and do it the right way. You want to see that shit light up in fucking flames, okay? You can do 4 blue flames if you want. I do the color of the person going. East is yellow, you know. Obviously the west is blue, right? Air, water, and then fire, earth, you know. South and north, red and green, right? So the north is green, Greenland. South is red, you know. Equator, hot. I guess we're going to work on the world the opposite, but it is what it is. And then, you know, air is yellow and water is blue. So the East Coast and West Coast. Both have water, but they both have earth too. So there's a little harder for you. Like it depends on where you are. So, anyways, point is, use your imagination, get into your visualization. That is trance. You don't have to be half asleep in your trance. How the fuck are you going to do anything? There are deep trances like that. That's what Edward Casey and Dolores Cannon, you know, obviously these stories are true, which I think they are, but some people may not. But anyways, those are deeper trances, and you can get into a really deep trance. When you go under hypnosis by somebody, you are in that deep trance. But there's a line there of where the person's belief and the person, you know, people say you can't be hypnotized if you don't believe it. And that's not true. People get people to do shit all the time for them that they don't want to do. If you want to be hypnotized, you can still be hypnotized. It's just going to be under a different way. You know, it's going to be as easily done. But it's still going to get you to do what they want you to do. And it doesn't matter whether you believe it or not. The only way that comes into effect is if you don't think it'll work, so you don't even go near it. But at some point, someone's going to do it to you, and it's probably already been done to you. Manipulation is a type of that kind of hypnosis. I think NLP is manipulation. But anyway, so I got off the topic there with the whole trance thing, but I've wanted to say that for a while. That's one of the best lessons I think you can give anybody. Well, I mean, people who teaching them so many things, and all the stuff is good. But just because I was that way, so I was saying other people are that way as well. So if you think that you can't trance, definitely can't imagine. And so you get the right book on trance with the right information about trance, that you're just going to keep taking information so that the day comes whenever you finally get into trance, you're good to go, or you can meditate, you're good to go. Well, I'm here to tell you that the only way to start this is just start trancing out and do it, and pretend you're in a trance. And what I mean by that is start visualizing shit, whatever it is, whether you want to do like I do, pretend you're singing in front of a stage or whatever, just start, and you start with your altar. And that's why I do it on the couch by myself when, laying down for the night. Now I start to TV or something. I close my eyes and I visualize my whole fucking ritual in my head. And I'll do it differently. I'll sometimes pretend I'm still in my room and dark angels and everything's in my room. And at the same time, it's space. Sometimes I do it whereas I'm in the room, but then my higher self up in space. It's double. And then when I do the middle pillar, it goes through the space side first, space version of me first, my higher self, and it comes down into me in the bedroom. I don't do the whole process the second time. As soon as God names again, I just see it through the God names one to the first, my higher self that's in the cosmos, and then it just filters down to me. And then from there, my feet for me, which are in my room, but it goes all the way down into the ground. Okay, because I think phrase is just to visualize my proof. That's why the no pillar, whenever you say, I don't know how that, when you say that last line, you can see it on top of your feet and into the ground. So, but because it's supposed to be in the cosmos when you're doing this, I always never understood that part. So this is how I got around that. It was my imagination that made it my own thing. And come to find out that little thing really doesn't matter. Okay? As long as you either don't care, you keep yourself up in the cosmos, or you find a way around it. At least you're so literal and analytic, you just do something like that. Be okay, this is how I want to fix. But meanwhile, the real Corey is still down here at my altar, and the higher self Corey is going to have no sun up in space. You take care of cosmos, I'm taking care of physical. Look at it any way you want. It doesn't matter. That's spirituality, baby. That's what it's supposed to be. Everybody's personal, whatever they want to do, however they want to believe, however they want to pray, however they want to meditate. You don't need to do what other people tell you. It's good to learn how to start, get a bunch of different versions of what people do, and then make your own so useful. But don't just say, okay, well, this person's got the most stuff, so they're doing it right, then we copy them. But they're not you, and it may not work, even if they seem like they're a lot like you. It doesn't mean they are, You can have two people that are two different signs, and whole charts don't have anything together, but yet they seem alike, and then the opposite is also true. So none of that really matters. But I forget what fucking last thing I was talking about this, but I think it was how you get thought forms and ignorance and how that plays into the I am. So anyway, let's go back to the whole I am stuff. Using the personifications, okay? I said, if you want to be the worker at your job, or you want your job to be a little bit better and find something better, so it's more easier to go into work. So it's not so shitty. Okay, well, you got to figure out what kind of person would enjoy your job, or what would you need to do to enjoy your job better? What would help you do that? Okay, if you can't find anything, well, you got a big problem. But there's something about your job, or some type of person that doesn't enjoy your job. And maybe you deal with a lot of people, and you don't like being around a lot of people. So that's something you have to figure out. I want to be more sociable. I want to have better verbal skills, better interactions with people. I'll be a people person. I'll be able to talk in crowds more freely and better. Be better with the opposite sex, or whatever the case is. Okay, maybe that's what you need, and your job will be a lot better. And that might not only make your job more doable and easier for you to go in, because it gives you that anxiety, but also it might open up other doorways, because maybe you're somebody who is not like somebody yet, and just being able to start speaking better in front of people make you attract friends and even a mate, somebody else. So this is how your regular job with a brand new skill, which could be a personification, it could be an I am, it could be an identity, can help you out. You can say, I am a people person, I am a powerful, fearless public speaker. If you go like that, I am a magnet to the opposite sex when I speak. A bunch of shit like that. You're taking these tendencies, these qualities, but you're turning it into a personality, a personification, turning it into an identity. This is where affirmations also are powerful. The I am makes you whatever you're saying. Say, I am a smoker. I am fat. That's something you do not want to do, because you're taking a negative identity, something you don't want to be, and you're owning it. When you say I am, you're fucking owning whatever comes after it. I am. You are saying, this is what I am. I am a smoker. I am epileptic. I am a cancer patient. No, none of that shit. I have a disease. I am not a disease. But you can't say, no, I am free from disease. Okay? I am free from disease. It should be one of everybody's fucking affirmations if it's the affirmation. Okay? Because anybody can get a disease. You can be a smoker, non-smoker, it don't matter. You can be a drinker, non-drinker. Be healthy, non-healthy, it doesn't matter. Anybody can get anything. But anyway, so anything that comes after I am is an identity. a bunch of different things, okay? I am weird, okay? You should own that, whatever you want. So if you can't go to work because of a bunch of different things, okay? Well, I am free from slavery. I am working by choice. Pretty simple. That might make the job better. It might make everything better because you create reality. Everybody does. Someone else can create reality for you if you give up your right to create your reality. And all that means is your mind is still manifesting a situation, but you're not doing it in the way you want to do it. You're not like me and everybody listening to me right now. So it's kind of pointless to you guys this, but someone who's not creating a reality goes to work and just expects whatever comes at them. You know, they think their day is just going to be basically the minimum what their job description is, so they're going to go there to do their job description, what they're supposed to do. But within that, there's a bunch of little things that they're going to interact with people. Maybe the same people from the day before, maybe different people, but all this has been attracted or repelled by them for whatever reason. They look up crabby, they go in, and all the people that are in good mood aren't going to come to you, they're going to see you're crabby. Likewise, the people that are also crabby like you, they're going to attract because you're in that mood. This is a way you create reality, a very small, minute way, but still a way nonetheless, a very easy way to understand. Okay, so whatever mood you're in, people of that like mood, you're going to attract towards you. And it's the same way for things you want. Okay, like attracts like on the ethereal plane, more in the physical. Opposites attract in the physical stuff, but in a different sense, in something that's going to take a little bit more exploration on that. Yeah, but it doesn't mean you're not going to attract people here in the physical realm. And the reason is, it's because, like I said, like attracts like. Therefore, when you are in a good vibration, okay, your soul, your body, your essence, everything is in that vibration, and that's connected to the physical, whether you like it or not. It is connected to your physical body, your soul, and all that. So are other people. I don't care how you want to look at this, that's connected. And the other people are going to know that. They're going to see it, they're going to sense it off your presence. Someone doesn't have to ask you if you're crabby to know you're fucking crabby or bitchy. They can see it. They can smell it. It's like animals, they're not magical. Hello, it's all subconscious mind. That's why this is pretty magic. But they can like smell fear, sense it, or something to that effect. And you can smell like well, basically fear. For someone who does complete awful things in a fearful state. Fear is not all just being scared. Fear is also anger, depression, sadness, nihilism, psychopath, pathology, shit like that. That's all in the fear. So when it comes to dogs, if they only see two ranges of colors, right? So everything that's white or a white shade, even though white shades only right, so a different contrast in white is something that's perceived as, on love vibration. And anything dark, completely black, would be of the fear vibration. This is a bad representation because black is not bad and white is not good, and vice versa. But let's just say that's how it works. Or red and blue, red and green, or yellow and blue, okay? Whatever one is fear, or someone who's killed somebody before, or who has taken their children, or who is molested somebody, okay? Well, they have the I am presence of I am a molester, I am a murderer, and they're holding on to that, walking around with that. Dogs sense that because they are in fear. They're in fear of either doing that thing again, trying hard not to do that, knowing that that's wrong, but for some reason they can't get rid of it, can't banish it. They're walking around with that with them, okay? And that's what the dog senses. Likewise, I believe humans have that. Humans are aware of how they know it. They just know it. People call it intuition because some people have it more than others. So the way they explain that is, well, I have a better intuition. And then you look at the chart, you see where certain the water signs are and whatever else is. Then, okay, you can come to the conclusion that this means people have better intuition. Likely those people, or sometimes psychics, if they practice that skill. Okay? That's where that comes into play. So yeah, if you go into work and I'm crabby today, well, I am as I am. Okay? I'm crabby today. I'm bitchy today. I'm having a terrible day. No, you're going to interact with everybody else like that because they can sense that. And you have something in common. Your friends, you guys are on the same vibrational state. It's like you can only see each other. All the happy people, if you manage to see them, they're going to piss you off even more. You're going to stop focusing on them. You know what I mean? You're going to go find someone to bitch with. You know, you're going to find a happy person to bitch with. Because if you do, they might sympathize, unless they're an empath, because that's what happens with empaths. I'm not trying to say empaths or this or that or anything. I'm not trying to say I'm an empath. I'm just saying someone who can be on a high vibration, because it's talking to someone who's at a high vibration might be someone who's in a low vibration might go to them too, because they have a different color presence, or whatever you want to call it, that they're giving off. And that's what we see is that as a dumping ground. And it's not their fault, but no one wants to feel like that. So if they know somebody get rid of it, they're going to do that. People are impulsive. They want to give in to impulsive desire. And that's kind of how it works out. But you want to make your life better? Well, the affirmations are, if you don't want to look at it as affirmations, then look at it as taking on personalities, okay? Multiple personalities. Let's do it. Let's be multiple people all at once. But it's not multiple people, it's multiple personalities. It's like, okay, because we are different things. We are dark and we are light. We are good and we are bad. But we're not just those things. We're a big variety of things. Yes, there's only two fears, love and fear, okay? But whoever created that polarized people, I think. Or it's part of the polarizing scheme. Good and evil. Well, okay, we're in New Age, we don't believe in good and evil, we don't evil, we want to be centered. Well, if you want to infiltrate that, you say, well, there's only two good feelings, and you want to do this all the time. Well, no. Well, it's not easy. You can't do that all the time. You gotta be both. You gotta be in the middle. You know, so, for different situations, you need to be a different personality. If you're protecting your children, you don't need to be in a fearful state of losing them. You have the nuts and the balls to pull the trigger and kill the person that's going to hurt them. That's not bad. That's protecting the ones you love. There's nothing wrong with that at all. But likewise, if someone is good or your child is behaving, you don't want to be in a fearful state until you yell at them, traumatize them, or even hurt them. That's the wrong state. You need to be in a tough, loving state, which means you understand, you're there one day, but you can't understand so much that you let them get away with it. So they keep doing it, and then it gets worse, and they end up in jail. You have to have enough understanding and love because of the child. You have to have even more understanding and love. Do what is necessary to get them out of that habit before they do it so many times it becomes a habit, and then they created that personality, and that's who they think they are. And you do not want your kid to think they're something that is like a criminal, a drug user, whatever, a liar, a bad kid. You know, want them to think that. That's the worst thing you can do to them. And if you have one of those, you need to get rid of that shit. Anyway, I didn't touch on much astrology today. I didn't even hit on that just to talk about it yet. But I have a family day thing prepared. I kind of need to do that. So astrology-wise, how this could help you would be, if in my case, I know I don't have much fire time, but I've always loved the color red. That's like my favorite color. You know, because that's my only favorite color. It's black and white. And my other two favorite colors are shades. So technically speaking, red is my only favorite color. White and black is always my favorite, but then for some reason I got into the whole white and black thing. I've been wearing white and black now for the last, 5 years. And I've been spiritualizing now 3.5 years. And then working on myself and transformation. So to me, that white and black is beautiful because, people say you need to wear white, you need to be initiation, you need to be naked. Some people wear black, whatever the case is. Well, I wear both because I am both. I am light and dark. And I'm trying to find that balance. So these colors like gray. Who the fuck wants to wear gray? This is exactly, you mix between white and black. You mix the white and black, you're going to get gray. So I'm not wearing gray. Fuck that. But what it is, I don't have a lot of fire on my chart. Right? And there's a guy who wants to go out like me on this. He's been there a long time. And last episode I said if you have two agreeable people, you'll see them trying to hold the door for each other and say, no, you go first, no, you go first. I was being nice like that, right? But it happened with me and this other guy. We're both on a lift. We both stopped and the other one go by. And we went back and forth for 3 times. No, you go. Oh, you go. You got no feelings. No, you're about to go first. No, I'm okay. I don't mind. No, I don't care. I know, you go, man. What you do is more important. We came back with something that I think I finally decided to go because that's when I realized that, wow, we're both agreeable. And people come up to me because I was wearing a red hoodie there. And they're like, oh, Mark? I'm like, no, Corey. And they're like, oh, no, I know your name. It's just fits in the back. You both have dark hair. And Mark always wears a red hoodie, so I get used to you wearing a red hoodie too. Now, this guy is a lot like me. I don't know his chart, but I would assume that he doesn't have a lot of fire with me too, because he's a shipper and receiver, and they take advantage of him a little bit. They get him to do a lot of things. I mean, he's really good at it, and he never says no, right? So, and he always is really smart. But then, by the end of the day, you're really stressed, for work and stuff like that. So you have a lot of fire. But at the time might be red. And it's the only thing I'm trying to point out there. So using your birth chart in this kind of way to take on a personification that might help you in your job or life or the meeting or whatever the case is, if you go and look and see what you're lacking or what you have too much of. So that's where you can start on evening yourself out. So if you need more fire, you find something that you have trouble with. It's not going to be hard. You already know what you have trouble with. Everybody does. You can play naive all you want, but that's bullshit. So whatever you have trouble doing, whether it's stopping something or saying something or sticking to something, well, you take on a personification of, no, I am disciplined. I am very good at whatever you're not doing. You become, if there's a name or a title associated to what you want to be, but you don't have enough fire to be there, well, then you take on that title, whether it's the work, your love life, whatever, If you're scared to talk to girls or meet girls or guys or other things, you take on that lazy personification. You watch videos about those kind of people and associate with that. And read books about people that wrote books about that are very successful, Surround yourself with the personification you want to be. See yourself being that person. Do all the magic stuff I've already talked about, but also let your subconscious see it and also let your conscious mind see what you want to be. Take the notes down, write this shit down. Write down what you want to be. Writing is so powerful, it's unbelievable. That's that whole thing I was talking about. I'm trying to get somewhere, and now I'm so far off. I don't even know if I'll ever get there. But I'm trying to make the link between making an actual thought form and like whenever Jordan Peterson tells you to write down what you want to accomplish in life. And I'm trying to tell you how that can be a thought form, how that can become a thought form because you created that potential when you wrote that down for that to happen. Now, there's a lot of things that can come between that thing happening and from the time you wrote it for it to not happen. But there's a better chance it's going to happen when you write it down than if you've never written it down at all. Because your thoughts are in your head and you accept them and you play them out. When you write it down, it's as if you've already accepted it. If you write down something as like your budget, with a restricted number or your exact number, and you're wondering why new money is not coming in your life, well, you're restricting it, putting something down in the physical form on a piece of paper, saying this is what we're going to make, this is what we're going to spend. And then when you don't get extra money and then you do a couple of impulsive shopping things and you don't even get to spend the money on all those bills, well, don't wonder why. I warned you. Make a budget with double the amount on it. All right? Start doing that. Now, that might limit you from getting a lot of money,